5 years ago, Eli and Edie Broad came to Boston to announce their support of an experiment. 4 years ago, we launched that experiment.
From day one, it was always, what's the next task? Who can help do it? How do we solve the next problem? That's always been the culture.
The team approach, that you have individuals who are experts in their particular field and together working on a large project that no one individual could undertake.
We underestimated how hard it would be to understand the function of the human genome, and we also underestimated how important an understanding of the genome was going to be.
There was a concept put forward that we should build something called a haplotype map. So across the whole genome, across different populations. To develop the map, we're going to have to perform a few million of these genotyping reactions. Those numbers at the time were extremely daunting. If it wasn't overwhelming, it wouldn't be the Broad.
We were pushing things so hard. We were on what we always called the bleeding edge of the technology. We were the first ones to get a new technology and say, it's not working, go back, fix it, try this.
And these were kind of like the early days of robotics and automation. Our engineering groups were building their own custom robots that work as much as they could in their early infancies.
It was stepping back, understanding the process, inventing new ways to track samples, new pieces of automation to make sure that we could, accomplish these goals and sort of meet the demands, of the time.
There were weeks where we had cords running through the building because we were having power outages in Cambridge pretty frequently. We had to literally connect it to kind of a makeshift generator. And so you'd have to step over the cords as you were doing your work.
Grants were done on paper and taken to the FedEx. We had this big grant, which became the Microbial Sequencing Center eventually. We got like 4 feet of snow and FedEx wouldn't deliver, so we bought 2 train tickets and 2 people actually carried them down to Bethesda to submit them.
We were part of large consortia projects. One such project was the Human Microbiome Project. At some point in the project, all of the other genome centers had started producing data. And the Broad was kind of called out for lagging behind because we really believed that it was important to automate the process so that we could do it reproducibly at scale for a long time and at high quality. At the end of the day, we submitted all of our data before anybody else finished, and all the subsequent studies showed that our data was the highest quality of all the centers that generated data.
We create tension, right? The right amount of tension within the organization, and we're constantly kind of pushing the whole organization because this is the culture and this is how we think about it, and we're fearless about the things we can take on.
We've always had this sort of mantra of, we don't know what we don't know yet. And that's something we have to continue to work through.
This idea of people being driven by wanting to make discoveries that will really impact the world, taking on something that's bigger than themselves, that's the Broad spirit as far as I'm concerned. That's the spirit and the culture and the energy that I think will sustain us into the future.